This is Everyday Expertise, and I'm Angela, and I'm here with Elizabeth Lee. She's an illustrator, graphic designer, content writer, illustrator, and general geek. And we're going to talk about her art today. So, Liz.
Hi.
How did you start out in illustration?
I want to say something more noble, but it was basically escapism. I was a geeky kid, and I learned how to draw because I honestly love anime. But I've been drawing since I was younger. I love dinosaurs, and I would just try to draw the things that I loved. And I was a bit of a geek, like I said, so I would spend a lot of time by myself, just kind of creating worlds. That's how I got into it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well. Yeah. It's cool in retrospect.
and you do some graphic design. How did you get started with that?
That was just a choice I made in school because I wanted to get better at like layouts and do something that would be kind of useful as a career. And I've always been into like fonts and really dorky stuff like that. So, I just wanted to couple my illustration with something like that.
So, what do you do in terms of graphic design? Do you do like fonts? Do you use any web design or anything like that? Or
I'm still in the process of learning web design because it's the necessity of our generation right now. I'm actually doing a certification in web right now. For now, I do like UI visual elements, sort of what the programmers need to build a site. So I do that. But I really like designing for print, so I'm all about books and laying out text and images to make it look crisp, and I really enjoy doing those kinds of things. There's nothing better than seeing like the finished print product for me.
So you've got your illustration work. You've got a lot of fan art.
Yeah,
what one would call fan art. A lot of Sailor Moon, a lot of like Voltron, Supernatural.
Sure. Yeah.
That show was it
Miraculous Ladybug.
Ladybug, yeah.
You just outed me on that. Oh my gosh.
Don't worry. Hey, there are a lot of people our age who like it just as much as kids.
It is a lot of fun. Yeah.
It's cute. I mean, I've seen it on like Netflix.
Yeah, it's definitely for kids, but I think the fandom has just taken it to this crazy, unexpected level where the storytelling in the fandom is so rich that it just makes you really get into it. Yeah.
So, what about fan art appeals to you, like making fan art?
Oh my gosh, that's a really good question. I think it comes from a place of wanting to explore sort of different areas than the original creator wanted, and the ability to make the characters your own a little bit and have them explore different situations, or just sort of, I don't know, putting into reality your love for these characters, I think is a big part of it anyway, for me anyway.
Yeah. Do you try to get as like photorealistic to the actors as you can, or do you go more sort of imaginative or comedic even sometimes?
Not really. I mean, I try to sort of make them recognizable, but I've never been very good at photorealism anyway, so like I just try to make them recognizable and sort of do cartoony versions. Yeah. That's what I like to do.
How do you think making fan art is different from making like original art? Like, how do you find those I guess different genres of drawing?
It makes more money. No,
I don't know which one makes more money actually.
The fan art. Well, in terms of conventions, people are rarely there to go buy your original art, right? So they're there for the same reasons that you love the characters. They're there because they love characters and they want to like get stuff from the characters they love and maybe put it on a wall or something. But original art is it's strange because my fan art's like kind of bubbly and kind of cutesy and stuff, but my original art can be a little, I don't know,
darker.
A little darker. Yeah. A bit more angsty, I guess. Or like I like making I've always loved making 3-panel comics or just those kinds of comics as well, and it's like really sarcastic and stuff. So it has a certain audience, but yeah, so fan art's mostly about hungry. I don't know, fan art's just more for fun, but yeah, I don't know, I really like it.
No, I mean, I don't think there's any, I mean, I think the stigma around making fan art is probably dissipating a little.
Yeah, I would hope so, because people don't stigmatize people like the artists who do the DC Batman comics or who do Spider-Man, and I'm like, granted, they're professionals who are, mandated to draw it, but technically they're borrowing from Stan Lee or whoever and making it their own, right? Their own version, their own iteration. It's better paid, I'm imagining, but
one assumes that most of them started as fan artists.
Yeah,
in a
exactly,
way, right?
exactly. I think it has like, I don't know, a large fan base, and people are respecting it more because, my God, if you look at some of the fan art out there, like the skill is unbelievable, like beautiful images, right? Like that's what's great about digital art these days, is that it's so much more accessible to people.
Well, the internet certainly did that, and like Tumblr and
Tumblr's a big one.
DeviantArt before that.
Elfwood.
Yeah. Elfwood. Oh my God. Now I feel old.
Right? I know. I had people that like discovered my past on Elfwood, and I was like, it's like a dirty secret of the internet.
Yeah.
No, fan art's got a lot of merit, and I think that artists should get less flack for enjoying it, because it is really fun. It's so fun. Yeah.
How does how would you say that your illustration work is separate? So I guess from what you do for your graphic design work. Does it cross at all, or is it really like very different?
Yeah, that's a good question. No. Most of the time, people approach me, like when I'm working like, a contract or something, people approach me because they want an illustration. But say they'll mention either after the fact, or they'll say, yeah, we'll just make a poster. And then it's kind of like, okay, well, what kind of poster? What do you want it to say? And you have to sort of incorporate that illustration into, a layout, and a layout that makes sense, that sends the message that you want to send. And that looks punchy, right? So it goes hand in hand pretty much all the time for me. Yeah. Like it's very rare that someone will be like, yeah, I just want the drawing and no context, or so it goes hand in hand.
Have you ever gotten any graphic design commissions based, like someone who found you through your fan art or anything like that? Or through your Tumblr, or
I wouldn't say so. Actually, my fan art is very separate from the professional kind of stuff that I do. Mostly because I actually work a lot in Illustrator for the professional stuff, in terms of, I don't know, corporate illustrations, graphs, data visualization sometimes. And that'll work strictly in Illustrator. But most the fan art is done either by hand or digital painting, and it's very different, and the fan base is different. I mean, there's no fan base for corporate art, really, but I mean, there is. That's not true. Who knows? There is. There
may be like fanboys in corporate, America.
Exactly.
Who are like, I really love that infographic.
Yeah, no, it's true, and actually, I misspoke. That's actually a huge market. It's very true. But I'll keep like most of my more professional stuff on, say, a site like Behance, which is like specialized in design, and for people who are like, who are fans or shippers of stuff, like I'll give them my Tumblr. So it's it's a very separate universe, separate audience. So.
Okay. What mediums do you work in? What's your
Oh man.
Do you have a favorite medium? Or one that you work in the most?
I do. I resisted digital art for a really long time because I so enjoy coloring. I mostly color with markers, like Copic. That's actually a huge debate. If people say Copic or Copic, I have no idea. I've heard people say Copic. Anyway, those cool markers.
I have no opinion. So
yeah, I love marker drawing because they act like watercolors with a bit less hassle. Yeah. But recently I've been getting into watercolors a lot, and I really enjoy those. But
when you do your digital art, do you start off with sketching on paper, and then you go into like, I guess I imagine you use a tablet or something?
Yeah. I use a good old.
Or do you go like straight to the tablet when you have an idea, kind of thing?
I've always been more of a paper person, so I'll usually work from sketches I have in my. I have like a zillion sketchbooks, and I'll usually work from there. Maybe scan it or recreate it on the screen as I can. Most, pure digital artists do their sketch. They do the undersketch on screen. I do that sometimes. To be honest with you, my methodology is it depends what I feel like doing. Yeah. But generally, I much prefer working with my hands than sitting at a screen. So yeah. So I'll usually start with a paper sketch.
So moving from that, let's talk about your process. So let's say, walk me through like from idea to finished product.
Okay, sure. Usually for an idea, like I have sketchbooks for that reason, to take down all the ideas or even just write them down, or do like a really bobo like stickman sketch of something, write down concepts. And then from there I'll do like a more elaborate sketch, either in the sketchbook or directly on the marker paper if I have a really good idea of what I'm going for. I work in non-repro blue or in very light graphite pencil.
Okay.
And then after that, usually what I do is I ink with, just really good inking pens. Like I use microns, but there are all kinds. There's like Stadlers, and they have these varying widths, and I'm really geeky about all this equipment. But
do you have any of your like
sure.
earlier sketches? Like the earlier phase of the sketches here?
Oh my goodness, they're like over. Here, let me get one. Sorry for going out of frame here, but
she's getting stuff.
I'm getting
so
stuff.
We can show you what we're talking about.
Yeah. So this is an example of like sort of a sketch that I went nuts with.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see
that? See it? So this is her. This is non-repro blue, right?
So that just
this
means
is
that
non-repro blue.
It means that for anyone that doesn't know, that it can't be photocopied.
Right.
A lot of artists work this way, and then I would put like a layer of ink on top. For example, in this one. It's like
so you can see here. There's the blue. And then there's the ink.
Yeah, exactly. And then after that, you would move to the marker stage. So I usually always have a test page with me to like test colors. And then that's like
so you can see all the tests here.
Yeah, that's
where
like,
she's testing the colors.
Yeah. So then in the end, you end up with
That's pretty cool.
Thanks. After I've colored in marker, you can end up with a product that's got all the flats down in basic shading.
This is her recent Voltron sketch. She did a live coloring on Instagram.
Do you know what I realized? Like I'm divulging a really horrible secret, but I drew Lance with 6 fingers at first, and it's still on there. And I just noticed after, thank goodness, because
wow.
Yeah,
he's got
6 fingers, man. It just happens. A lot of people be really.
You heard it here. It's an exclusive. Lance has 6 fingers.
It's all the better to taunt you with. But yeah, so so you end up with that, and I usually my process has always been like marker and digital. So I clean it up digitally, and I add backgrounds, and I do some extra shading and coloring. So, but base, I just love markers.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, at what stage do you start putting that into the computer?
At that point, like the drawing, as you just saw like that, I would scan it, and then, you clean it up in Photoshop, and I want to just
sort of finish it there.
Yeah, exactly. I digitally paint the background, add some more shading, more highlights and stuff like that. So, and then maybe a digital signature and watermark if I'm posting it like on Tumblr or something.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah. I found my art in like, Vancouver's Chinatown on a t-shirt before. That's happened to me a few times.
Have you done any like t-shirt design? It seems to be a big thing right now. Like Otakuthon was full of independent t-shirt designs.
It is. It's just really expensive, so I don't tend to do it. I have tried, those like web services that they create the product and it's like an all-in-one service, but you make such a crappy royalty on that I sort of
that it's not worth it.
Well, not for me. I mean, there are artists that are just more disciplined than I am and have but I haven't really gotten there yet for that stuff. So hopefully soon.
Cool.
Yeah.
So was that everything from beginning to end when we were talking about the
process?
Yeah, the process.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just that I make it sound easy and stuff, but cleaning up takes me like a good hour and a half per character to like really clean up the line art, really like, and I have people that say, well, why don't you just draw it directly?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a fair point. It's just that for me, the enjoyment of coloring and drawing is just like the manual process. So I've always kind of incorporated both. But yeah, cleaning up an image can take anywhere between like 5 to 10 hours, depending on like what I'm going for with it. So
what kind of markers do you use?
Yeah, the Copics, Copics.
Oh yeah, the Copics.
The Japanese
Copic
markers.
Thing.
Yeah, I have some there. I don't know if you...
Was it?
They're over here.
Oh, I see. Wow, it's like a whole bag of
Yeah,
markers.
I've got over 300 of these bad boys. I'm a little addicted to them. So.
Oh, those are neat.
Yeah, there's a Sharpie that. Oh, sorry. Cool. They're all over the place. It's just my life. So yeah, there you go. So yeah, they're really fun and they come in so many colors. I'm gonna pick this one up.
Good.
You're gonna have to edit this video. Sorry.
Don't worry about it. We aren't. We're not gonna edit this.
Awesome.
All right. So, artistic influences. Do you have any?
Oh gosh.
To say?
It's hard to say because there's like the thing that happens with the internet is that there's so many artists and it just becomes overwhelming. But originally, I obviously have to admit Naoko Takeuchi was like a huge, you know, the creator of Sailor Moon, and I started drawing people after. Like, obviously the proportions were completely off, but like she's the one who inspired me to like kind of start drawing and start telling stories and have it be okay that it was about girls and like you know have the whole superheroine thing going on. So she's awesome. Obviously Miyazaki is a huge like I don't draw like him, but his storytelling is like oh my god, unparalleled. So for sure. And then like there's people like Loish. I don't know if you she's like a really popular digital artist. And her coloring is just like exquisite, and I have her fan book. It's great. She's so amazing and creative. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. What's something you wish you'd known about art before you started? Before young you embarked on this journey?
Don't work in it, Liz. Don't work it. No, I'm kidding. I would say if you're talking about like artistically, as soon as I got interested in manga and anime, and I know that a lot of manga fans are going to get really mad at me for this, but in retrospect, I would say before you start drawing cartoons, learn anatomy first. Draw from real life first. Because once you get those dynamics and all those basics, those foundational drawing skills down, then you can do whatever you want. And I had to work a little bit backwards because I started with a highly stylized style first. And like my idea for proportions of the human body were completely off for years. So drawing from observation, drawing from real life, learning human anatomy.
Yeah. I think it would shock me if you really like if you went to like the manga artists in Japan and they'd probably all say the same thing.
I think
they learned anatomy and then they drew what they drew.
Yeah, because the purpose of the statement is really not to like poo-poo anyone who's into drawing manga. It's a wonderful art form. And I super encourage it. But oh my god, learn how to draw from life first. That's all I gotta say.
Well, it's that rule. It's the sort of general rule for I think a lot of creative things. It's like learn the rules and then you can break them.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Also, this one seems fairly obvious, but if you want to get better at drawing, you have to draw. That's the only, there's no like secret.
That's true.
It's really just do it every day. Sketch something, even if it's like a crappy drawing that lasts 5 minutes, just do it. But yeah, those are the things I wish I sort of had told myself back in the day.
If you could go back in time.
Yeah.
You would say to little Liz.
I would say.
Do those things.
It's cool that you're interested. Keep doing it. But also do the real world stuff too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Good question.
Right. So, how do you apply your art into other aspects of your life? How do other aspects of your life influence your art? Would you say? Do they? I mean, how do you manage art with life?
It's hard in the sense that, like, I wish that art was my whole life, and I think as a person it is. Like there's never going to be a version of me that's not creative on some level, but it's a very competitive field, and there's people from the younger millennials than me anyway, that are born with Photoshop in their hand, right? There's a lot of skill out there. It's highly competitive, and it's really I've found it very hard to sort of make it professional, because what happens too is when you try to be a professional artist is that your passion becomes your job, and that can be difficult sometimes. So there's a lot of people, myself included, that don't necessarily work in the artistic field, and you get a 9 to 5, hopefully it's tolerable, and you spend every other waking hour on it. Like I'm working towards changing that, but you know, it's gradual because you gotta pay bills.
Yes.
So I do freelance.
Bills are important. Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah, imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What are your what's your favorite and least favorite things about illustration, about drawing?
Man, that's.
Do you have any favorite
Yeah, I mean,
things
I love coloring. Coloring is my jam. Like, I hate inking in the not in the sense that it can't be beautiful and fulfilling, but it's just sort of a repetition of what you've sketched.
It just seems like you're slogging through it type of thing.
A little. Yeah. Not but then there's like inkers that are extremely dedicated, but for me it's kind of a must do instead of a want to do.
Yeah.
For me, like the real joy of it is coloring and like getting that look that you want at the end. And it's just, for me, it's very therapeutic. I just love to color. It's like half the reason I draw anything is to like get to the coloring part.
You were that kid that had like the coloring pages at the restaurant where
my agendas in high school were full of doodles and
stuff.
Color pencils, you know. So but yeah, like in terms of professional illustration, I would have to say it's clients who sort of change their mind or underestimate the work involved, I guess. There's that aspect, but that's kind of any also, creative field.
Yeah, that's just happen, right?
Exactly.
People think, oh, you just make this like now, right?
Yeah, it's easy, right? Can't you just or like, can you draw me for free? It's like, no, man. Sure. But yeah, those are some pain
pet
points.
Peeves,
pet peeves.
Yeah.
But do it for the coloring.
Do it for the coloring.
And obviously, like, when you get a good reaction to a piece, like, I don't want to say I draw only for other people, but it's always nice when someone says, like, oh my god, I really connected to this, and I relate so hard to this, you know, especially when it's your original art, then it's, really fulfilling, for sure. Yep.
How do you cope when you have, like, stress or obstacles? Do you experience obstacles when you're in your pursuit of your art?
That's a pretty, like... It's a really good question, but it's really wide, right?
Yeah, I know.
Do you mean like process-wise or
well,
like?
Well, yeah, I mean like no, I mean like
the pursuit of a career or the pursuit of art.
Pursuit of art. I mean, what kind of? I guess I'm not really sure exactly what kind of obstacles you might face, but
well, I guess
other than maybe not being able to make a living.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah. It's a big one because art is, unless you're like one of the few who's like extremely talented and lucky and you have that combination and you manage to make ends meet professionally, it's not a field that will make you a lot of money, right? So it's just like struggling with the real world, you know, right? So that's anybody, that's authors, that's it's like it's the struggling artist, like
the struggling
stereotype,
artist,
right? It's
literally
the whole thing. So yeah, that can be a frustration. And sometimes, honestly, I don't get over it. Sometimes I'm just like, what have I done with my life? And, so like, honestly, like, I don't have a good answer for that because I am not over it, man. I don't know. But art's the one thing that's been immensely frustrating, but it's the one thing in life that I've never given up on. So you just kind of take it day by day and try again the next day. So that's all you can do, right? And learn as much as you can.
Yeah. Do you get block? Like creative block?
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god, of course.
How do you deal with that?
Well, this is like becoming a yay internet video, but what's great about the internet and Tumblr is they have a lot of prompt lists. So you can sort of pick and choose, and they'll have a list of like 30 items that say, oh, draw this or draw that, or so you can get ideas for anywhere. But what I like to do is I'll go look at the list of my faves on my Tumblr or on my Instagram. I'll look at stuff that I've liked and try to draw inspiration from that. Or what's important about like getting over block is documenting a lot and having sources of like inspiration in terms of like I'll fave things on Tumblr, I'll fave things on Facebook, I'll build a list of ideas on my phone for when I don't know what I want to do. I'll write it down in my sketchbook so that when I do experience block, I'll just go to one of those things.
Yeah, you have something to refer to.
Yeah, but then there are always days where you're just like, I don't feel like it. And you just like draw from life. And sometimes I think the best way to get over block is to try something different.
Yeah.
That's actually why I got into watercolor recently because I was kind of bored with my process, so I just tried something else. Yeah.
Do you ever find yourself like you're in the middle of a piece and it's just not going right? And,
oh my God, yeah.
And like, so how do you like, what do you do when that happens?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm like creatively ADD, so my whole
from a few people now.
Yeah, like
not about you. I mean, like in general.
Oh no, I'm totally in that category. So my art case is about yay thick, right?
Yeah.
And it's just full of pieces that are in various stages of completion.
Mm-hmm.
So what's great about that is that you can drop something and go do something else and come back to it like more refreshed, right?
Yeah.
But if it's something that I have to finish, you gotta plow through and you have to not worry so much about the result, because the thing about drawing is that it's not always going to turn out the way you wanted, like, and you're going to have to go through a lot of disappointment before getting a result that you want sometimes, and you just gotta plow through it. My friend Eric, he's a comic book artist, he's always like, you gotta draw and then you gotta redraw and you gotta redraw and you gotta redraw. So that's like advice that I've taken to heart. So
It's pretty cool. Okay, so do you have any more advice for people who want to do what you do, want to start out in illustration, or basically just want to do your drawing and that sort of thing? We've talked about a lot already, but do you have any more advice?
Yeah, I guess my advice would be stick to it, and if you know you're an artist, go about it confidently. It doesn't matter that you're not good enough yet. It doesn't matter that you lack certain skills. Just I was held back for years because of a lack of self-confidence, and instead of working on the areas that I needed to improve, I sort of just dwelled on that and said I'll never get there. So my advice would be surround yourself with people who encourage you, who inspire you, and who challenge you, and just can I swear? No, freaking keep drawing. That's all I got. I think that's my best advice. Just keep drawing and try to find something you love to do in art and pursue it.
How did you get past that period of less self-confidence that you were talking about? If you're comfortable talking about it.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. I wouldn't say I'm completely over it, to be honest with you. It depends on the day. Because like I said, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of mind-blowing artists, and it's hard not to compare yourself sometimes. But I think that can also be a source of like great inspiration. So you really have to reset your sort of view on it if you can. There are days when you can't, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And you have to try not to be so hard on yourself when that happens. But yeah, like it'll depend on the day, and you just have to appreciate how far you've come and keep going. You know. Yeah. I wish I had something more helpful to say, but yeah.
No, I mean, I certainly hope that whoever watches this does find that helpful.
Yeah, me too.
Because that's good
awesome.
advice. It's good advice.
Yeah, it's like anything. Just keep at it.
Okay, so anything you'd like to plug? This is the time.
To plug. Okay, yeah sure.
How can people find your work?
Well, I'm at, basically my artist name is Liz Lee Illustration, pretty much anywhere I am. So on Instagram it's Liz Lee Illustration, that's not plural, singular, so not illustrations, but Liz Lee Illustration. I'm like that on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Tumblr as well, and on Behance under the same name too.
Do you, how do you find these different sites for showing your work? Like, I don't mean like find it.
You mean like
most people
what's
can
the
find
impression?
Instagram. Yeah. Like, what's your impression of the advantages of each of those sort of?
Sure, I can do a rundown of that.
Yeah.
Tumblr's definitely for fandoms, I would say. Fandoms and activism, which is great. So if you like activist art and if you're just like a big shipper of something, then you go on Tumblr.
Right.
I'm not going to reveal my ships because, you know. But,
you have to go on her Tumblr to find out.
Exactly.
That's why.
They're all there. But Instagram is really good if you have like a shop or a small business that you're trying to get exposure for. It's great for that sort of thing to feature your products or your artwork. I think has good commercial value. Facebook is more for networking, I would say, and like I guess that's fairly obvious, but but it's good for just connecting with a larger audience, I think. Twitter, I haven't quite figured out Twitter yet. I'm at Liz Lee Draws on that one.
Yeah.
It's a curious beast. There are a lot of fandoms. There are a lot of serious artists as well. It's good to follow artists you love. God, what else? DeviantArt is kind of same. It's like fandoms, but also it's a good mix of everything on DeviantArt, I'd say. Yeah. Did I cover all of them?
I think that does.
Right?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm sure there'll be a new social media at some point.
I'm
I'll have to figure out.
I'm sure. There's probably like, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what Snapchat is or how it works or any of this stuff. Like,
it's fun, but I don't know if I'd do it for art. Yeah.
Okay. So, thank you, Liz.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you. So this has been Every Expertise. I'm Angela. And thank you for watching. Bye.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this interview. Be sure to share this video with friends and colleagues who may also enjoy this topic. Let us know your thoughts by leaving a comment below or check the description for our social media. See you next time.